And we're going to be talking about, is the Pendulum Z still worth it? So let's run an intro and get right into it. The reason I chose the topic for this week's episode is because I've been getting a lot of questions recently about the Pendulum Z, how it works, and is it worth buying? A lot of people really want a pendulum, especially ones here in America, because they were never released at all in America. But the question is the Pendulum Z the right one to go with, and is it worth the price tag of it? So we're going to be talking about the Pendulum Z itself, how it functions, what does it do, and then at the end, our opinions about, is it worth it, is it a good buy for you, and help you guys inform your decisions here, because this should help out a lot of people who've been asking me this question. Before we jump into that, though, let's throw in a sticker on the counter, and we've got Lopmon. Lopmon looks really adorable. Alright, so let's talk, while I get this ready here and get the sticker on the counter, let's talk about what the Pendulum Z is. I'm going to stick Lopmon right here. There we go.
He has a very loppy ear.
It does. So, the Pendulum Z is a device that came out a couple years ago. There's 6 in total, and basically they're a remake of the original 6 pendulums, where they took some original Digimon from them, they added new Digimon on them, and they added some all-new original Digimon also to them. So it jumped off the original idea of the pendulums. The pendulums are based off of the Folder continent. If you guys don't know what the Folder continent is, it's a region in Digimon, in the digital world. So the original anime Digimon Adventure took place mostly on the File Island, while Folder continent is the larger continent surround outside of File Island, and it's broken up into different sections there of different fields, as it's called. And each pendulum is supposed to represent that field. So when we talk about the pendulums, we are talking about the Nature Spirit,
Nightmare Soldier,
the Nightmare Soldier, the Deep Saver, the Metal Empire, the Winged Guardians, and the Virus Busters. And those are the 6 regions of the Folder continent there, and each pendulum has Digimon that are supposed to represent that area of the digital world. So depending on which one of those 6 you buy, will be the types of Digimon that you raise. So just for example, we pick the Winged Guardians device. That is full of plant and flying type Digimon. But if we pick the Nightmare Soldier device,
we'll get like spooky monsters and like otherwise like
dark themes, right?
Yeah, dark, like like a monster, Halloween, dark.
Exactly.
Like a dark theme.
And that's the one that I'm currently running right now to use for an example for you guys, is the Nightmare Soldier one. The one thing I really love about the Pendulum Zs personally is that they kept the original backgrounds, but they redesigned the look of the pendulum. It's the same shape, it functions the same way, but now it's just got this cool pixelated design and just adding more to them.
My favorite thing is like the cool pixelated thing that looks so cool and detailed.
I really like it myself, too.
That's so cool.
So, since we got it here, let's start taking a look at the device itself and the different options and menus we have on it.
I couldn't draw 10 of those, because there's definitely more than 10 of these things.
So, I currently have Flare Lizardmon here for our examples. We have our general menu button that we always have. These were only released in Japan. So keep in mind that it is a Japanese device, but there's little to nothing you actually need to read in here. Then we have our age and weight, our hunger hearts, strength hearts. It is in English there, so that's nice to see. Effort. And then it tells us our typing and what stage we're at right now. So this is adult level. Then this has levels and experience you can gain just like the DMXs. These really essentially are a DMX in a pendulum form. They took all the best parts of the DMX and brought it over to here. Now, the addition to the pendulum that is pretty much exclusive to pendulums is jogressing, where you can connect to another device and digivolve further and not need to meet any other requirements than that. And then our win percentage here, which I didn't do any battles. Then we go over to our food. We have our standards, meat, and vitamins here. But then you see we also have the addition of items, just like the DMXs. Like I said, they took all the best parts of the DMXs and then continued that into this series here. And then now you see our training. It will indicate how many shakes you need there. Now, I didn't make all 3 to make it to the right spot, but as you see what will happen as we go here. We do our different attacks. There are close-ups on here. I don't know. Yep, there's our close-up. I said I don't know if I'll make it because I didn't quite get the right spot in the shaking. But I got a great. So there's good, great, and then bad is you just didn't do any shakes at all. And then we have our Coliseum here, which then you can battle through just like you can in the DMXs and the DM20s. Then
I like how that's like a gate, like, you are entering the tournament.
I like that too, Devi Dude. And then we have our poop. Now here is our lights. If they don't need to go to sleep, you can put them in storage by going to off.
I thought that was just a bunch of lines.
Nope.
That's
and
supposed
then
to be
we can switch it. We go into the fridge. Oops, sorry guys, I keep on missing it. There we go. And then we go to on. Like I said, there's only very little Japanese in this device.
Why would you put
and then
creatures in a fridge?
We can go over. It's just Digimon, bud. And then we go here to healing. And then this is our like book or registry. You can save up to 2 Digimon on this device. So you could essentially have 3 going at once. So I currently have Susanumon and Apocalypmon in storage. And then if you go over to library, it will show you all the Digimon you have raised. I've completed this device.
So there's some different
So I have raised every single Digimon you can on this device. And there's no blanks. But if there was a blank, it would just be the shape of an egg with a number on it to represent who that is.
I saw.
And as you guys saw there, that's every single Digimon. So that's a pretty good lineup. And then your record is just your win-losses and how many battles. But I've done over 1,000 battles here. So it kind of just taps out and that's it. Then our final option on this here is the connection. Which we have battle and jogress. Jogress is where we're going to be able to connect our device with another one. And then digivolve our Digimon with another Digimon. So essentially DNA digivolve from the original Digimon Adventure 02. When the DNA digivolve, that's what Jogress is. It's just they called it something different in the anime. So that is the whole device and what it can do, its capabilities, which, like I said, they took everything from the new modern devices that we liked and brought it over to a pendulum format. Yes, the roster is a little limited in comparison to things like the DM20th or the Pendulum 20th. They're both limited in comparison to those devices, but those devices are anniversary devices. Keep that in mind. That's not the standard for a Digimon V-Pat. Yeah, buddy.
My finger can change colors.
Oh my gosh. So those are not the standard for a Digimon device. For a standard Digimon device here, this is a normal level roster. Some Digimon ones have more, like take example the DMX2 and the DMX3. Those rosters are huge. But it's no bigger than the DMX1 or definitely much larger than the Digimon colors that are out now. You definitely have more Digimon than Rays. Continuing on with the same themes of the DMXs, there are unlockable Digimon here. The more you go through and do that quest mode there, that Coliseum there, you're going to be able to unlock new evolutions for your device and have new Digimon that you can raise. So that's really awesome. I love that gameplay aspect of it that they brought into this device. And speaking of jogressing, I think I think we should jogress, because why not? One of the cool things about this device that some people don't like, but I personally think it's a neat thing, is that you can kind of like supercharge your evolutions here, or super jogress, and just go from one to another.
Wait, what?
Yep. As we see here, I am jogressing from adult level into perfect level right now. I've got Chimeramon, and he's looking super awesome. Since I have him, let's check out his close-up here, guys. Chimeramon is going to take 3 shakes. 1, 2, 3. The one thing I don't like about this device is that it does use a pedometer in it, and not the actual pendulum.
That
was an awesome close-up. So the actual shaking inside is just for nostalgia, and it actually doesn't matter at all that pendulum in there. A lot of people don't like the pendulum shaking noise, and they just straight up remove them, which you can. It's very easy to do that, but I find like the pendulum shaking in there gets a little I don't know, it just doesn't do anything. It really doesn't do anything at all. I find that the pedometer in it is a bit sensitive, so sometimes I'll reach my shakes, and then while I'm just like kind of moving my hand closer to me to look at the close-ups, it'll end up shaking again on me, because the pedometer in there is really sensitive. But we can now jogress up even further. With a traditional pendulum, you'll need to use up what they call the DP to jogress, and then at the end of the day, it's all gone after you jogress, and you got to wait a whole 24 hours to reset that and be able to jogress again. But with the Pendulum Z's, that's not a mechanic in here at all.
You can just jogress until you're fully evolved.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're going to do, Debbie Dude.
We evolve into next.
It's somebody special just for you, Debbie Dude. So now we're going to go back here to connections. The one thing with jogressing on here, you can jogress with other Digimon that you have on the device in those backup slots. So you don't actually have to have another device to jogress. As you see here, it says Digimon or connection after I push the jogress. If you push Digimon, it will use your own Digimon on the device to jogress with. And then only the active Digimon gets used up. Whoever is in that other slot does not get used at all for your jogress. You'll still have them. And now we're jogressing again immediately into Devimon, one of Debbie Dude's favorite guys. And since we have it, might as well check out that close-up. He only needs 1 shake.
Oh my god.
There we go. So I'm trying to be super gentle there, not to get extra shakes. It looks sick, doesn't he, Debbie Dude?
Yeah, but it would have been cool if he had his mouth open.
Oh, that would have been cool if he had his mouth open.
With his tongue sticking out like he does all the time.
Yup.
He's like...
But it's a cool close-up there. So, like I said, it does have that leveling mechanic here. My Devimon is at level 1 right now. The more you get experience by doing those battles in the Coliseum there, the more you'll be able to level up. When you're at Ultimate level or Mega for dub fans there, it's going to max out at level 10. And then the amount of shakes you need will start getting smaller and smaller to the point where if it's going to tap out at 3 or 2 or 1, it kind of makes it easier. For example, when I have to shake right now, the bar is open for me to be able to do 5 possible shakes. Once you get higher levels, that bar will kind of shrink down to being 3 as your highest possible shakes to kind of minimize the amount of error. And then the one thing I'm not personally a fan of on this device is the fact that depending on what type of Digimon you have will determine how many shakes you need. For example, virus-type Digimon take 1 shake, Data-type Digimon take 2 shakes, and vaccine-type Digimon take 3 shakes for them. I'm not a fan of that because I like the original Pendulums. The original Pendulums, each individual Digimon had a certain amount of shakes that they needed. It's not a general typing. So, for example, one Digimon you might be raising requires 4 shakes, but then it digivolves. Next thing you know, it requires 8 shakes. And then you got to keep on learning and following what your Digimon needs to get the right sweet spot for those ultimate attacks there. And that's something that I feel like this device really missed the mark on, and they should have brought into it, but this does simplify it. And the fact that you're able to see your shakes as you're doing them makes it great, because it's the only other pendulum that does that. All the other ones, you don't see it. It just beeps and tells you to go, and you go until the beeping's done. And you either hope you counted right, hope the pendulum's working correctly, or the pedometer's working correctly, and you're getting the right amount of shakes. This one, you're actually able to see it, and that is really awesome. That's a great addition to this device. Now, let's really talk about, is it good? Is this device good? Should you buy it? What do you think overall, David Dude? Like, is this a device, any one of the Pendulum Zs? Because I know different rosters, different Digimon you like. But as a whole, the Pendulum Z, is it something you feel is worth it? Would you spend your money on it? Versus other Digimon devices?
I would get it, but I'd get the Emersoda one so I can get more of the Digimons. Unlike the Digimon 20th, yes, there is easy to get, but they only have one Digimon!
Yes, this particular device does have Devimon, Neo Devimon, and Dun Devimon, and you can Digivolve naturally through those ones.
And also, I really like the design, but still I do not have enough money, so I would have to wait to get one.
You'd have to save up for one.
Yeah,
that is a big plus for this device overall. It's not a super expensive device. Even though it's been out for a couple of years now, it was a premium Bandai device, so meaning that it's a limited run of them. It hasn't shot up. For some reason, it's a device that a lot of people slept on, or a lot of people are unsure of buying. Personally, for the current value and price, I think it's worth it. From what I've seen as of recording this video, the prices go anywhere from $40 US for one single device up to $80 US for one device, plus shipping and handling on them, depending on where you are and stuff like that. Things can change. But keep in mind, it did originally retail for $60 US plus shipping and handling. So the fact that it stayed right around its original price is amazing, and it just shows that people weren't really buying it, and they're not really doing it now. I feel like the DMX overshadowed it, and that's what it was. That the DMXs came out in Japan, then these came out in Japan, and then the DMXs came out in English. So I feel like the fact that just kind of overshadowed it was a big thing, because essentially they are the same things, really, but they just function slightly different. It's got that pendulum mechanic to it that really makes it stand out from a DMX. But essentially, programming-wise, they are the same. They use a lot of the same mechanics. And then if you are using it with a DCOM, when you go to do battles, because the battle system is the same, you can battle a Z battle and a X battle through the pendulums together. You don't need to do anything different like traditional battles to battle them. So that's really cool and a fun aspect of it. But again, it really comes down to they essentially are very similar. Now, the question I get asked is, should I save up my money and buy a Pendulum 20th? Because those things are expensive. Or should I buy this? Or should I buy an OG one? I honestly think this is a good buy. This device is a good buy. If you get it somewhere in that price range I said, is a really good buy. I think it's worth it, honestly. The OG ones are a lot of fun, but they can be really hard to find, and then they tend to have problems with the pendulums from sitting so long, so you're going to have to open them up, clean them, put some work into them most of the time when you get them. And if you just want something out of the box that's just going to work great, have all the modern amenities you're going to want and have, this is the device, honestly.
If you want luxury, this is what you want.
Exactly. If you want luxury, this is what you want. The Pendulum 20th is great. I love it. I've got two of them over here. They have an amazing roster of Digimon, but they're so expensive. They're getting so hard to get now. And honestly, if you just want a pendulum and you just want to try them out, this is a great one to go with. If you're just getting into the Digimon VPET collecting, or if you've only run DMs your entire life and you wanted to try a pendulum for the first time, this is a great pendulum to get. I highly recommend it, honestly. That's what it comes down to. Yes, it's still good and it's worth its value because it hasn't shot up drastically, it hasn't gotten crazy, and it's definitely worth its value for the price on it. If you're paying over $100 plus shipping on it, I don't think it's worth it. Look somewhere else. You can find it significantly cheaper in other places. Japan Yuan always has them up for decent prices. You can get them on Buy through different sites through them for decent prices all the time. I don't currently know right now off the top of my head if Zen and TCG has any in stock, but they have had it in stock before, and you can get it there for great pricing. So those are some... No, Debbie, dude. So those are some places you could easily get them for good prices. You could look on eBay. eBay will definitely have them, but I don't know about good prices on eBay. So when it comes down to it, it's a good one. I think we went over everything it can do, essentially. I think the fact that whole jogressing all the way straight through is a really fun mechanic. There are super ultimates on this device. Devimon in particular cannot digivolve the Super Ultimate, but plenty of other Digimon can, and that's really fun, and that's where you see the Susanomon and the Apocalypse that I had. Alright guys, so if you found this helpful, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you Giga Blast that like button.
And touch the links comment down below.
It helps us out a ton. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who watches, likes, comments, and subscribes. You guys are Digi-tastic. Thank you. Speaking of awesome dudes, check out these awesome dudes over here, our Patreon supporters. These guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I have a blast talking to you guys in the Patreon Discord group. If you guys want to help support the channel too, please go check out our Patreon. Link is down in the description there. And as always, I have a ton of fun. I hope you find this helpful. Let me know down in the comments if you have a pendulum, your opinions on it. If you have the Pendulum Z, your opinions on it. Or if there's any questions you might have, let me know down in the comments and I will happily answer them for you. From me, my family, to you. Have a Digi-tastic day!